Welcome to the Numerology and the Astrology for July 6th, 2020. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 17, and if you add the 1 and the 7 together, you get the number 8. So again, like you've heard me say, sometimes I separate out the numbers. The 1 is about individuality, the 7 is about boundaries and structures. So perhaps today is a good day for you as an individual to look at your boundaries and structures and decide whether they are functional or not functional for you. Also, it could be that, as an individual, you want to help implement bigger structures, global structures, structures that will actually serve you down the road as we go. And then if we take the number 8 as itself, the number 8 is about acknowledging sadness and grief. And I want a world where kindness is the cause of tears of joy, not anger and hate causing the tears of despair and hopelessness. I believe it is possible. I believe those with hate so deep in their heart need deep psychological help. I cannot help but imagine the level of inner suffering and fear they are constantly living in to cause such a toxic reaction. I recognize that they are suffering so much that they need to cause the suffering in others. But it is not a healthy way to live. It builds karmic suffering in other lifetimes and is detrimental to society. So, stay kind, stay calm. Recognize the sovereignty of all living beings. They have the right to be here just as much as you. The astrology today, we are past the eclipse. I slept 10 hours last night. Yay! I don't know what that is. It's like I wish, even when I don't know it's happening, it'll still happen to me. So we are finally past the eclipses, but the moon moves out of Capricorn early in the morning and into Aquarius. Do your best to be kind, open-minded, caring, and willing to risk for the greater good of our society. This moon will move with the energy of gumption and drive, and that is Mars, is the planet of energy, gumption, and drive, and the love of compassion in Venus today. Use this to socially connect in creative ways that give an impetus that has staying power even in the midst of this crazy reality. Mars and Jupiter come together in creative ways. Let it motivate you into being productive and act in ways that will allow you to grow and shift energetic patterns that are harmful into something that you are proud of. You can become a force of positive influence if you have the courage to stand up and speak up. These two planets are all about progress and expansion. There is only one way out, and that is forward, not backwards. Okay, so my quote for today is, you have the freedom to choose, you don't have the freedom to abuse. And my blog for today is twofold. So the first part is a slight poem here, and it says, what if those that die with so much hate in their heart are destined and trapped as ghosts when they depart? What if that hate is the karmic trap that seeks your soul to eternally kidnap? What if hate is a haunting that holds you tight because you did not make love the destined fight? And just because it's today, right? So I always look at the craziness and synchronicity of life. So some of you know that I was planning on going to see my mother, and then COVID started hitting in a big way, and we were traveling on the 4th of July weekend, and we don't want to be exposed to it, and I have a gene that makes me susceptible to lung weakness things, and I've spent my life strengthening my lungs and keeping myself incredibly strong, but genes are genes, and I don't want to test my genes at this point. So we opted to stay put, and today, which we would be gone today, all of a sudden I hear this boom, this incredible loud explosion, which is not a gun going off, which, by the way, where I live, everybody's got guns and everybody has guns going off. And so it's not the sound of a rifle or a shotgun or something like that. It was a big boom. And I go out and I look around and I can't see anything. And, it sounded like it was maybe a mile away. And so then I decided to take a bath. And as I'm taking a bath, all of a sudden there are helicopters going overhead and there are planes going overhead, and they're circling like completely right around my house. And so, I'm sitting there going, oh, that's so weird. Like, that doesn't normally happen right here. And so I pick up the phone and I call in our area, we have like a little homeowners association on these properties that are out here. And the phone tree person is Anne. And Anne is awesome. She's like amazing. And so Anne, I call Anne and she goes, yes, a ranch a mile away from me, the house is on fire. And the person is out safely, but it blew the propane tank and the trees are on fire. Well, where I live, it's a little bit of a cul-de-sac. We're kind of at the end. So if a fire came from that direction this way, we would actually be trapped. So it becomes a big deal. And we have 10,000 gallons of water. We have a fire hose hydrant. We have the fire hose. We have enough hoses that go to all of our buildings. We try to be very, very prepared, but still a mile away in the fire season is incredibly bad. And I thought about it and I thought, oh my gosh, there's this app called Everbridge that you can have on your phone, and it tells you like if something is going on in your property. And obviously my little Everbridge was going off. And I thought, oh my God, if I had been in Seattle or Spokane and this would be going off, I would be panicked. I mean, literally something on fire a mile from my property and I'm not there. That would be completely insane. So I get out of the bathtub, get dressed, go down the hill to the fork in the road, and the police are there and the helicopters are there for the fire, and they're dumping water, and we've got the plane that's coming, that's dumping the orange stuff, and the fire was handled. It was basically being handled, and it was being contained, and it was going to be fine. So, but it was again that place of looking at the numerology for, be an individual, stand up for yourself, and what is the plan? What is the plan? What is your strategy? What is your structure? And I realized that, and my husband realized that while we have a fire plan, we do, and we have sprinklers on the roofs that come up from the center of the house that can use our water to keep our roofs wet. We've got a lot of good systems. We've cleared the brush all the way around the house. We don't have a lot of big trees right directly around the house. We've done a lot. I mean, we've absolutely done a lot, but you realize it's like, oh my gosh, what if we needed to get the sleeping bags out like fast? If we needed to get everything in the car fast? I have a bag that has the pictures, the most important pictures, and the CDs and the videos and, things that are critically important, and the paperwork. And, I've got certain things put together in a radio. And so I've got part of it put together, but I don't have like the bigger things put together. And I realized, it's fire season here, and, we're in global warming, and you just never know what's going to happen. So now it's about being more well planned. I have this experience in life. People always say, gosh, you do these videos and I feel like you're talking to me. What I'm doing is that it's like stuff happens to me first. Like it's the universe goes wham, wham, wham. And it happens to me first. And because it's happening to me first, I think, okay, well, this is probably the energetic trajectory, and this is what everybody needs to be paying attention to. That's why I'm talking about it. Clearly, the issue right now for a lot of people needs to be that you need some plans, you need some strategies, you need to stand up and look at as an individual and look at what you need for your family as a structure, how to put this together. That's going to be important for whatever reason that's happening in the world. That's going to be important. What does your area need? What do you need for yourself? Look at how bad COVID is or isn't around you. Fortunately, we are in an area that's very low, which is great, but I always get nervous when I have to go into a high-end area, and actually I just don't do it at the moment. So what is your plan? What is your plan for the future? Start looking at, I know with the fire prevention, they say if you have 20 minutes, what do you grab? You have a list. If you have an hour, what do you grab? If you have 3 hours, what do you grab? But I think we need to go further than that. I think we need to look at what do we need in the next month? What do we need in the next 3 months? What do we need in the next 6 months? What do we need in the next year? What is the plan for getting out of debt? What is the plan for getting out of the credit card debt? How are we on our house payment? Is it a house payment we can manage? How are we with our job stability and security in a COVID world that could last another year? How are we going to do this? And really honestly evaluate your options and choices. And recognize that there are so many people out there working so incredibly hard, doing double duty. So the grocery help is working more than they have to because they have to keep everything clean. And the same thing with the people that are the produce people and the truckers that are constantly traveling and getting themselves exposed. All of these people deserve our respect. All of these people, the nurses, the doctors, the hospitals, because not only are people getting sick who don't have insurance that then cost hospitals bundles, but we also are dealing with people that end up with very expensive processes because of COVID that are also taxing the hospitals. And then you have people not going to see doctors because they're delaying things because they don't want to go into the hospital because they don't want to be exposed and potentially get sick because they need to have a surgery. And so they're opting out on any surgeries at the moment. There's a lot going on for a lot of people. There's a lot of stress going on for a lot of people. And I honor that. I recognize that. We have to stand as the one, completely own our own situation. And we have to completely create structures that will calm down the chaos and the nervousness of the external world because you have a plan. Okay. Thanks, everybody.